All right. So what we're working on here is we're going to be using place value, what we know about place value, to multiply decimals. So we here in this first example have two decimals that are both in the tenths, right? So we have 8 tenths, and we're going to multiply that by 3 tenths, or we want to find 8 tenths of 3 tenths. All right. So we're going to take our 8 tenths. Let me get the clicker thing. And we're going to say that we have 8 tenths. Okay, it's no longer a mystery. And we have 3 tenths. And as we multiply tenths and tenths, right, we've got two digits in total behind these decimals here. We have a tenth and we have a tenth. So when we multiply them together, we're going to end up with two digits behind the decimal, which will get us into, if we think about the decimal here, we have tenths, hundredths. We have a mystery digit and a mystery digit, which will become our answer. Okay, so we're going to have a certain amount of hundredths, right? It's going to take 2 tenths and turn it into hundredths. So as we go to our clicker, we can say that 8 times 3 gets us 24. And since it's 8 tenths and 2 tenths, we take two of the tenths and those become hundredths, or 2 tenths becomes two place value spots. So then when we write it in sort of decimal, proper decimal form, we would say 0.24. Read it as fancy talk, it's 24 hundredths. So similarly, we can think about the same digits, but there's something just slightly different here in this example. So you can see in the second example, we now have 8 hundredths, and we're going to multiply that by 3 tenths. So just a slight difference, right, from our original problem. So I'd love to encourage you to think about, well, what's going to change? So as we click here and we get into solving, we're going to say, all right, well, in our original problem, we have 8 hundredths, and we're going to multiply that by 3 tenths. And so when we think about our place value spots, right, here's our decimal. We've got two digits for hundredths. We've got one digit for tenths. So we're going to end up with a certain amount of thousandths. Okay, so then as we solve, we can say, well, I still know that 8 times 3 is 24. Doop, doop, doop. But this time it's 24 thousandths. So as we write that, we want to say 24 thousandths. So that the last digit with value, this 4 right here, the last digit with value is in the thousandths place value spot.